So yeah, welcome to our episode. Kapi Poha session का 25th episode है. So let me welcome our viewers also. So welcome viewers. This is the last episode of Kapi Poha session and Ittefaq series. And so people who've come on the show as guest speakers have a lot of coincidence stories as well. That's the reason they've been part of this series, season 2 as well. So today's guest speaker is Prabhura Siddhapa. I call him Sid basically. So I met him recently, and he's based out of Bangalore. He's a retailer for life, and he's passionate about travel, theater, Himalayas, and as he reads a lot of books as well. And he's also founder of Calvin Hobbes. And he's done his schooling from by Bangalore itself, from KV, I think, right? He's from an army background.
Correct,
And
correct.
he's done his, textile engineering and done his master's, MBA in marketing and HR as well. So welcome, Sid, to our show. Just wanted you to
Thank
introduce
you.
yourself.
Thanks so much. It's an honor. It's
So,
an honor, Smita. I'm very humbled, and it's super exciting because being the 25th episode, being all the efforts that has gone in, this is just so humbling, and I'm so thankful to you.
so थोड़ा सा इंट्रोडक्शन दीजिए अपने बारे में हमारे व्यूअर्स को भी.
बिल्कुल मैडम, छोटी सी व्यूअर्स, आई मीन हाई व्यूअर्स एंड हाई एवरीबॉडी आउट देयर. मेरा नाम प्रभु है एंड I'm a textile engineer, and I have been a retailer all my career. I had a lovely journey. Dad was in army, so I have traveled across the length and breadth of the country, and that's one more thing which has made the exciting journey for me as such, traveling to all these places, moving the length and breadth of the country. It's been super exciting. And then retail is something which which I am very passionate about, and it's been a roller coaster ride, and been so much that it's happening now. But 20 years back then, when retail was just starting in 2001, when I had just started as a management trainee, things were very different. But it's amazing to look back to see that how far things have moved from a delivery which used to take ages. Now people are talking 10 minutes delivery. So that's how the journey has been. That's how the retail has moved up, and that's the and I'm like, the journey ahead will be as exciting as every day gets.
So, how has it been for you? Did you want to get into retail, or it just happened just like that?
I was just I loved being with people, so I realized pretty early that engineering is something which it happened just the usual stuff, because those days the choices were only those many. So engineering happened. I took textile engineering because everybody told me not to take that. So मैंने बोला अब तो जरूरी करना है. So it was thankful, it worked out well that I'm now a fashion retailer. But then back then, it happened, and then I decided कि यार when it was happening in campus, RPG Group, which was the parent company of Food World, it had come to our campus, Faculty of Management Studies in Jabalpur. So we had a great opportunity, and then I got through RPG Group, and RPG was the pioneer because they were the ones who started Saregama, Music World, Food World, Health and Glow. So I was just lucky that I was right place, right time, because retail was just starting in India at that point of time in 2000. And we were just I wanted to be in a company which was getting into a sunrise sector, and so-called retail was something which was we were like, okay, we were blue-eyed guys, in the sense that retail, nobody had actually thought that as a career back then, that what does a retailer do, so but there was everything. Today when I look back and think, and I'm very happy that it happened, and one thing led to another. But at that time my only thought was, I want to be with people, any place which gives me opportunity to interact, listen, observe, meet, empathize, learn, and being a retailer has given me more than that. So yeah, at that point of time, it was, I wanted to be in middle of the
So
people and doing things.
meet new people, travel as well, right? Both your passion for
Exactly,
travel.
exactly.
Mm.
Because that was given that being a retailer and we were just starting, so it was like कि हाँ travel करने को मिलेगा and we will be going around and people will be like okay ये कर रहे हैं. So yeah, it was something which was new and yani it was a good ecosystem to be, because there were no the right thing or wrong thing, because everybody was learning and everybody's were just getting to know how to because each customer, each store, each place that we used to open our stores used to teach
Mm.
us so many new different things.
Mm.
So even in catchments which we had no idea about how they would behave, so learning from them those trying to customize stuff, trying to learn from how and why the customers are buying or what we are doing right and what we are not. So
Mm.
each, the journeys, each, store which I was heading, each, as a store manager, gave me a different perspective that, if I'm working in a store, as a heading a store in Kormangla to a store in Vijayanagar. So they all, one a conservative market and another a super cosmopolitan market in Bangalore. So
Mm.
it gives you a different perspective that the same city, each cluster, each, location behaves so differently from each
Yes.
other in their buying behaviors, in their, so we used to think here, all that which we learned in the Kotlers and MBA stuff, it was like, ki, okay, boss, the book stuff is fine, but here you're seeing everything live.
Like,
Every data point, every time a customer would walk in the store, we used to observe their shopping basket. क्या खरीद रहे हैं, क्या नहीं खरीद रहे हैं, क्यों खरीद रहे हैं. So just being there and observing and learning and listening, that was quite a thing. Ki,
mm.
how is it happening, and then and doing billing yourself, and that give you that thing कि यार सब कुछ तुमको ही करना है. If you can't do the everybody's job, then you can't be a store manager kind of thing. So
Mm.
that that was the given motto that we were very clearly groomed to.
Mm.
You should know everything from billing to cashiering to putting the stuff and managing the store,
Mm.
every stuff. So we learned, it was baptism by fire, but we had fantastic bosses,
Mm.
fantastic gurus that, they taught us the real, journey of retail.
Mm.
So that was really, the starting point.
So I wanted you to come on the show because you're from retail basically, because there are a lot of youngsters who wanted to know what are the options available for retailers as well. So if you can let us let the youngsters know कि अगर वो आज के time पे, because your time was a little different when you were studying your masters and all,
Correct.
but now it's very
Correct.
challenging and very competitive as well.
Uh, there are, I mean, like, the good thing is, if I see now and the opportunities which are there, I'm just saying, not only from say online retail or offline retail, I'm saying the opportunities per se are so much that, when we had started, you can be a designer, you can be a buyer, sourcing person, you can be a product manager, you can be a logistics guy, you can be a big data guy. I'm like retail has every dimension of the you want to be in commercial, you want to be in audit, you want to be in managing the front end, you want to be a people's manager. I'm like that's the beauty of being in retail, because you're directly interfacing with the customers. You can just pick and say ki boss, this is what I want to be.
Mm.
You if you're good at numbers, you can get into commercial, you can be in the big data guy. If you're good at art or creativity, then you can get into designing. You can be creating stuff, you can be doing the packing, you can be doing the visual merchandising. The product itself is the hero of the movie. So
Mm.
how you portray the product, how do you bring the product, what kind of creativity you are going to make the product to fly off the shelf, what kind of visual merchandising. I'm like say in fashion retail, putting the facade of the store, putting the visual merchandising in terms of the mannequins or the design, the layout of the store. How do you make customer to walk into your store every time and feel ki, wow, give them that wow. It should not be like it's looking the same every time they walk in. So a store needs to be vibrant, so you can be into designing, creativity, visual merchandising. if you are a person who is interested in logistics, because I mean, like, logistics is the thing, whether it is online or offline. The entire supply chain is the backbone of the business. So I mean, like, that's logistics is the whole framework. Whether you're having a store in Bangalore, or you're servicing whichever pin code in the country, and each of the dimensions that we have in that logistics itself is humongous. Making sure the product reaches right time, right place, and in the given time frame. And I'm like, if you're say good in terms of marketing, how customer loyalty programs, you want to get the customers to buy more, you want to be bringing something, something which is very special, to do a test marketing to certain set of people, to get a dipstick study. I mean, like, there is enough and more, that whatever you want to start off with, you can learn anything. If you are into the engineering, so you can design a store, you can make a architect, you can make the store, look of the store. So I mean, like, retail as such is anyway art and science. That's the the influence that both the streams bring in, because there is no shopping going to happen without the art or the science. You need both of them. So I mean, like, for me, I think if anybody wants to start off as a person in just to think that, okay, just get into retail and then figure out which way he wants to get into, because every offline company is now into online. If he wants to get into any organization which gives you the best of both, so you have the opportunity today that you can be in front end, you can be in back end, you can be into, I mean, the retail itself, you can be into fashion retail, you can be into atta dal chawal retail, the supermarkets, you can be into digital, you can be into jewelry, you can be, I mean, like, you name it, right? तो एक तो आपका ब्रेड इतना बड़ा है कि आप किसी भी स्पेक्ट्रम में जा सकते हो, और दूसरा, एक बार आप स्पेक्ट्रम में अंदर आ जाते हो, तो देन यू कैन डिसाइड कि यार मेरे को करना क्या है, क्या मैं ऑपरेशन करना चाहता हूँ, क्या मैं फ्रंट एंड देखना चाहता हूँ, क्या मैं मार्केटिंग में जाना चाहता हूँ, कि मैं विजुअल मर्चेंडाइजिंग करना चाहता हूँ, या प्रोडक्ट मैनेजमेंट करना चाहता हूँ. If you are good at certain part of thing which fascinates you, then you can go so much deep into it. I mean, like, today we are talking about cashierless stores, we are talking about next generation stores, we are talking about every kind of thing which a customer is expecting कि यार मैं 10 मिनट में मेरे को होम डिलीवरी मिल रही है, तो why should I go to a store? If the Swiggies of the world, Zomatos of the world, Amazons of the world are giving you, so how do I make my store appealing for a customer who will, for him, coming to a shop is therapeutic. That's the most beautiful part of it, कि जो उसको खुशी मिलती है स्टोर आने पे, that fascination of stepping out of store, stepping out of your home and coming to the store, and it gives you that, that's the beauty of coming to shopping, right? वरना तो आप घर में बैठे भी शॉपिंग कर सकते हो, लेकिन जो आपको मजा आता है,
लेकिन what I say is शॉपिंग का मजा ही अलग है, वो फील ही अलग है.
Exactly, because it gives you that joy, that moment of trying out new things, stepping out, checking out new things, because as humans, we are wired that way, that आप अनबॉक्सिंग भी करते हो, लेकिन अकेले करते हो तो मजा नहीं आता है, लेकिन 4 लोगों के सामने करते हो तो फिर आपको लगता है कि हाँ यार कुछ अच्छा मिला, and that it gives you that emotional high. So yes,
it's different. The experience being in a store, being with
absolutely,
people, and there are a lot of stories you get to know also. For example, if picking up something new, there might be some stories. The people around there, salesperson might be telling you a story. कि ऐसे आया, ये
absolutely,
कहाँ से आया. So it's good to interact that way also. That you don't get the figure in online. So yeah, COVID की वजह से
absolutely,
online
Smita.
increase. But yeah.
बिल्कुल. And I mean, like, it's the whole experience, right, Smita? जब आप निकलते हो, so it's not just going out, sometimes you buy something on impulse, sometimes you see some things which are like, अरे यार ये चीज मेरे को, it just happens that way. So it becomes little magical that way, that whenever you step out, that's why, shopping is, therapy, and
Therapy.
shopping is something which, yeah, which lightens up your mood, gives you that joy, and, even I mean, like, if you just step out and you get into an ice cream parlor, you go to a place, I'm like, it's something which gives you that happiness ki हाँ यार. So yeah, I mean, like, it's there is so much which you which today with retail is, I mean, like, it's a huge technology driven kind of thing. But yeah, at the end of the day, you are, if you're meeting the people's, needs and desires and aspirations, so, that's how it works. But yeah, if the young guys are, wanting or making a career in retail, I think they should go for it. It's a beautiful journey they will have. You get to travel, you get to see places, you get to know the newest things which are hitting the market. Because as a dukandar, you will get to know first कि ये iPhone 13 कब आ रहा है. Everybody is running behind iPhone 13, and I'm not able to lay my hand. But as a store guy, you will be the first guy who will, get to pick कि अच्छा भैया ये तो iPhone 13 आया तो मुझे तो मिलेगा ही मिलेगा types. So yeah, those are the things, and any limited edition stuff, anything that So as a retailer, yes, those are the perks of the job. कि हाँ, फर्स्ट डे फर्स्ट शो, आप चाहे रिटेल में थिएटर चला रहे हो या दुकान चला रहे हो या शॉप चला रहे हो या मल्टीप्लेक्स में काम कर रहे हो, you will definitely get to know firsthand what is happening, how the people are evolving, how the market is evolving, if there is whatever new launches are happening in whichever sector, in whichever field. So yeah, you get to have the advantage learnings and yeah.
So tell us about your growing up years, because you are from an army background and you've studied in KV and all. If you can share your experience in growing up, then it will be great.
I was blessed. I mean, like, being an army kid, my initial schooling was in Port Blair in Andamans, and after that we moved to Jhansi, and then that was in UP. And I'm like, for us, it was like every 2 years, 3 years, we were looking forward to the next transfer, next change, next place where we'll be thrown to. So, but the parents, yeah, for them it was like, oh God, don't know where we will be like the next time, next posting. But yeah, as a kid, that was the most fascinating things, because you would always know which is the next stop. Then we came from Jhansi to Pune, then we came to Pune to Bangalore, and then we stayed back, though dad went to Agartala, and then he again came back. So yeah, so that way we were crisscrossing the country, and we were like, okay, where next? That was always the thing. And yeah, KVs, you always knew that, okay, the good part was wherever you go, that, you'll make new friends and new school. And thankfully we're not the mobile generation, so life was much easier and simpler. There was growing up was fun because there were not too many distractions. It was always a given thing कि हाँ, छुट्टी के दिन यहाँ जाना है, यहाँ, we were always found on the sports field. So we were always on the ground because that was the only thing we could, eat. So yeah, that time, life was much simpler. And in growing up in army cantonments was even more fun because you had all the facilities at your, which you could utilize, which you could learn, libraries to go. And like Calvin and Hobbes and Tintins and Asterix and Chanda Mamas were the growing up things across. So we used to barter them, and yeah, it was good fun.
So what's your favorite childhood memory?
Favorite childhood memory is in Port Blair, because we had a whale of a time, and being a we were growing up in next to the beaches, and every weekend or we could go to our next island, because dad's friends were in Coast Guard, so we used to always go for a picnic or a joyride or stuff like that, because we had a common unit. So yeah, that was good fun, because one is you're discovering different cultures, different people, different languages. So army, as a kid, you realize that you celebrate all the functions, festivals, everybody's food and culture. So yeah, those were the days which you are formative in terms that you learn to respect every culture, respect everybody's language. And that was life was much simpler also, that we could easily barge into anybody's house, and the parents would be happy to give you whatever they would have made. And yeah, so I think those are the happy memories and formative which I really feel were very, very.
So tell us about your hobbies as well, because you're into a lot of things. So how do you find time for it?
I mean, like, I love mountaineering, I love reading, I love traveling. One is, it's always 80-20. So you know that, 80% you will be doing the usual mundane part of the life. It's the 20% when you need to scrape through and, find some time to do all that. So if you are able to build a passion, I mean, like, if we are opening I mean, like today I have, I mean, look, I have an opportunity to, okay, if I'm into reading, I dedicate a X amount of time every day. 1 hour is what I try to keep away. This is the only way I can switch off from everything and, read. So yeah, you block a certain amount of time that, okay, even if it is 2 pages or 5 pages or 10 pages, but, consistency is the only way, so you take one thing and you decide that, okay, at least for my own thing, it can be as simple as a walk in the morning or listen to the sights and sounds or wake up to the sunrise. But yeah, you have to block a time, because otherwise, you have so much happening and so much distraction. So I try to keep it easy, keep it simple, that, otherwise you can keep binging all your life, the Netflixes of the world. I mean, like, I was reading a statement by the Netflix CEO who said, my biggest competition is sleep. He told, my competition is not Amazon or anybody else. I'm competing with sleep, because that's the 8 hours of thing which people are switching off my, flicks. So imagine the vision of that guy, that he wants us as a humans to just be, watching all kinds of genres of movies or documentaries or stuff. So yeah, I mean, like, one thing is you have to cut, you have to be focused, that, you don't want to be, binging, or, you don't want to be carried away with so much, whether it is Insta, I mean, like, social apps, or whether it is, flicks or whatever. I mean, like, you have to give time for your passion. Nahi to hoga nahi. We can, yeah, it could be as simple as, even, whatever you're doing, 10 minutes, half an hour, but do it for yourself, So for that, you have to cut the rest of the, the sins, the so-called.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
so वो
so
जरूरी है थोड़ा सा, वरना हो
social,
जाता है ऐसा कोई.
it's good also social media, but yeah, I also call it a sin, so I just don't know how to stop that sin. The
हाँ
sin
यार,
में during time
it's
थोड़ा सा कम
exactly
करके.
correct, because it eats into your, quality time. बाकी कुछ नहीं है, because it's fun to be there, and that's how the apps are designed, that you have to get hooked onto it, and, you just can't come out of it.
Basically.
या तो वो जरूरी है कि यार यू हैव टू स्टॉप, एंड यू हैव टू से कि मैं, इतने से इतने टाइम ही सोशल एप्स करूंगा, इतने से इतने टाइम ही, आई विल वॉच माय, डॉक्यूमेंट्रीज और वॉट एवर आई एम वॉचिंग. सो यू ब्लॉक द टाइम, एंड देन यू से कि नहीं, ये मेरा रीडिंग टाइम है, ये मेरा लिसनिंग टाइम है, ये मेरा, माय सोशल टाइम है. तो वो आप थोड़ा सा कर लोते, मतलब दैट्स व्हाट इज वर्किंग फॉर मी. बट या, that's the only way I get to then spend time
So you
for
know
my
about our initiative, that is NiMiTHAM is. I just lost you, I think. Yeah.
no, I'm back.
Okay.
हाँ जी.
So what I was trying to say is, I think in between we lost you because of the network. So yeah, so I was telling you about the initiative. So what the initiative of NiMiTHAM is about, conducting life skill workshop for youngsters, basically.
True,
So
true,
and
true, true.
so we started off, I mean, last year onwards, and these 2 seasons we've done. So I wanted to know from you, like, according to you, are life skills important? And if so, then which one is according to important?
uh एक तो there is no doubts, life skill is the skill. मतलब I believe that, one thing is, there are 5 things which I think are very important. One is, you should be surrounded with people smarter than you. You should be very good at listening, speak less and talk and listen more, observe more, be show empathy, be humble, तो and travel. ये 5 चीजें मेरे लिए तो बहुत फायदा रहा, मुझे बहुत सीखने को मिला, बिकॉज growing up, or even in my working days, I just realized that, if you are you know, you're focused, you're listening, you're observing, you're just, doing things, learning and absorbing and surrounded by people who are smarter than you, you land up in a better place. You will learn, you will figure out some ways of whatever you're doing. ये चार पांच चीजें अगर हम करें, because I travel and I meet tons of people, and every time I have figured out that, the more people, more I travel, more I meet people, more I observe, more I listen, I end up, getting a better perspective of life. And it teaches you so much. मतलब सीखने के लिए, there is no end. And
Yes.
I totally believe that, you should live your shoe size, not your age. अगर आपका shoe size 9 है, 6 है, तो आप उस तरीके की curiosity रखिए, उस तरीके की, जिज्ञासा रखिए, उस तरीके की learning, absorbing, watching, observing वो रखिए जो आपका shoe size है. Don't be, if I'm 45, I don't have to act 45. I can be as, why growing up was so much fun? Why as a kid it was so much fun? Because we were acting, and then suddenly we grew up, and then we don't realize that, the only way we figured out life was when we were doing all those things as a kid. तो वो अगर आप करोगे अपने शू साइज की एज में को जियोगे, तो you're a much richer person as a person, because आप भी इवॉल्व हो रहे हो, आप भी सीख रहे हो. एंड इफ यू आर, I'm like, मेरे को तो, my whole thing is, जितना आप, there is so much to learn and so little that we know.
Yes.
And I mean, like, जो आपने कहा life skill, it is the skill, मेरा बस चले तो मैं 12th के बाद I would make 6 months of traveling compulsory for all the kids, कि भैया देखो, जाके दुनिया देखो. Just take 6 months off and go and see the country, see your own country, see your own town, see your own places. Just 6 महीने के लिए एक आपको, जो हम sabbatical 40-50 साल के बाद उम्र में लेते हैं, people should be made, I think we learned so much because क्योंकि आप एक ही जगह पे रहते हो, आपका एक ही सर्कल बना हुआ है, एक ही रूट बना हुआ है, तो आपको सीखने की, you don't have so much opportunity. बट अगर वो 6 महीने जो आप sabbatical, जब लोगे तब लोगे, लेकिन अगर 12th स्टैंडर्ड के बाद एक 6 महीने आप ब्रेक लेके आप अगर घूमते हो, अपना देश देखते हो, लोगों के साथ एक, शू स्ट्रिंग बजट पे ट्रैवल करते हो, यू बैकपैक करते हो, आई थिंक यू विल बी अ रिचर पर्सन, यू विल बी अ फैंटास्टिक, आप जिंदगी थोड़ा सीख लोगे, क्योंकि वो आपको हॉस्टल में सीखने को मिलता है, जो थोड़ा थोड़ा धीरे धीरे, नॉट एवरीबडी गेट्स इनटू अ हॉस्टल, और नॉट एवरीबडी गेट्स टू ट्रैवल, बट वो जरूरी है कि, all of us, if we can figure out those 3-4 things, observe, learn, be in the surroundings of smarter people, travel, observe, so those are the 4-5 skills, and as a life skills. बाकी तो आप अपने आप को, you are evolving every day. तो आप आज रिटेल कर रहे हो, कल हो सकता है आपको लगे कि यार मेरे को उस चीज में ज्यादा इंटरेस्ट आ रहा है, मैं फैशन में चला जाता हूँ, मैं आज आलू प्याज टमाटर बेच रहा हूँ, कल मैं मोबाइल बेचता हूँ. आई मीन, बिकॉज एंड ऑफ द डे यू लर्न दो स्किल्स, बिकॉज यू ऑल्सो नो दैट, कस्टमर तो वही है, जो कस्टमर ये खरीद रहा है वो भी खरीद रहा है, बट यू हैव टू गेट द प्रोडक्ट नॉलेज which if you are passionate about, you will anyway acquire.
Yeah, true. So what I tell people is traveling makes you a better human being.
बिल्कुल,
That's
absolutely.
the most important thing, because I mean, that's what, and it's an experiential learning basically. I mean,
Absolutely.
you tend to celebrate life when you start living in the moment rather than sochna kal kya hoga. Just you start
Yes.
enjoying the moment, basically. That's important, and probably you start opening up also. जो आप अंदर इतना bottle up करके रखते हो अपना emotions, feelings, and everything, it comes out when you talk to strangers, and when you look at their life, you look at and you realize कि how lucky you are, how blessed you are. So gratitude आ जाता है.
Absolutely.
Life,
Absolutely.
Sabbatical in my 40s only, so I thought, why didn't I do it earlier? That's the only question I asked myself.
Exactly, because it's life changing, if we, inculcate in the next generation that कि यार ये आप अभी कर लो, when you're younger, when you're smarter, when you are, curious, when you have not been diluted by the world's wiseness, or कि quote unquote कि हाँ आपको लगने लगा है कि बहुत तोप हो गए हो आप, आपको सब आ गया, तो then the traveling grounds you, traveling brings you back कि यार अभी तो दुनिया बहुत है. I mean, like, everybody is, it humbles you, it just shows that, there is so much to learn and so much to,
Absolutely.
absorb and listen and
How's been your
figure it out.
experience with mountains and all? Because you travel to mountains as well. So yeah, that's my favorite
Yeah,
topic.
my journey to the mountains was thanks to my wife, who was very kind and who was very, very in love with the Himalayas. So all these 16 years, we used to travel as a ritual. April, and we are off to the Himalayas, whether it is Uttarakhand or Himachal, and whether it is Nepal or Bhutan or Arunachal or Northeast or Sikkim. Like we will just go and camp and stay with the people, stay with the villagers, do a homestay with the villagers, and that's where see the real life, कि हमको लगता है कि हम बहुत ऐसा है वैसा है, but the joy that you get in staying in the villages, staying in those homestays, staying in those small places, and just absorbing, just seeing that, how life is in the harshest of places where they live in a sub-zero temperature. And when you go to April is just, the snow is just got kind of melting, तो आपको वो देखने को मिलता है. And then you get to see the beauty of the start of spring, how life changes from being the winter hibernation they kind of get into, to restart their life when the ice snow is melting in the hectic life. Like it teaches you so much, because you are in Himalayas is something which I think everyone should do, and it keeps calling you, because once you are in love with the Himalayas and then you love the beauty of the place, just being there, I'm like just being there in terms of just going and camping in the in those beautiful meadows, in those beautiful places. I'm like, you have more experiences to tell about this, but yeah, like for me it was very, very very, very helpful, and I really feel that going there makes you realize that you are blessed, and I would want to go back and see there are so many good things which are happening there. So yeah, it's beautiful. Like
I feel most alive when I'm in the mountains because that's the feel I get, and I have a very different life with
absolutely,
my when I'm there. It's become so mountain.
bil-
जैसे कहते हैं एक आपका एक mountain side भी है, तो I have that mountain side when I'm there. I'm very different. So I don't know
correct.
what happened to me. I am just cut off from the city life. मुझे ही नहीं पता कि मैं कौन सी दुनिया से आ रही हूँ. It's a different world for me. So that's what I
Absolutely,
do.
absolutely. I'm like
Love
simple things, simple things. Just having a Maggie there makes you feel कि wow man, ये मैगी मेरे को जब मैं बैंगलोर में रहता हूँ तो ये मेरे को वैसा क्यों लगता है? But eating those things, I mean, like that should be declared as the national food there. But yeah, I mean, like that simple Maggie and chai and poha. I mean, like those are like, absolutely divine. On a
दाल
cold
चावल
winter day when you're sitting by the chulha
Yeah, so
and
दाल
getting
कड़क अदरक की चाय जो वहाँ मिलती है that's also basically
absolutely,
I feel
absolutely.
उस चाय जो आप पी रहे हो उसके साथ जो बातें करते हो ना when the people share their life stories you feel यार क्या कैसे लोग रहते हैं I mean and they
Correct, correct.
have an easy life in mountains so basically अब हमारे यहाँ
Absolutely,
पे easy
absolutely.
city life is much more easier mountain life yeah so
बिल्कुल,
I'm
बिल्कुल.
coming to my next question here. What is a life mantra and what makes you live your life to the fullest? Because whenever I see you, I've seen always full of energy basically. हमेशा I call you up for 5 minutes, probably we end up talking for hours basically. आधा घंटा तो कहीं नहीं जाता.
One
So
thing I
yeah,
realized, probably it's the the bringing upbringing, or the time that we had, the growing up during our childhood days, as being from the army family that I belong. One thing which was very clear to me was live the moment. It was always Que Sera. It was always कि यार, live for the day, live for the moment, because you just never know what happens tomorrow. So one was कि यार, live the day. There is so much which is happening, and every day I wake up and say कि boss, आज तो मतलब बिल्कुल किला फतेह करना है types. So for me, every day I wake up with that feeling कि यार, I'm thankfully blessed with fantastic colleagues and friends and family, and people around me, and who are much smarter, much more knowledgeable, much more, beautiful in terms of, the quality time that I get to spend with them. So I mean, like it's one is, if you keep that feeling of being that kid that you have, तो आप जिंदगी आपकी बहुत गुलजार रहेगी, बहुत खूबसूरत रहेगी. You live the shoe size, of that age. If I'm wearing a size 9, so I believe that कि अगर आप अपने अंदर का जो बचपना है, जो खूबसूरती है, वो उसको आप डाइल्यूट नहीं करोगे तो आप मजे में रहोगे. Otherwise, it's always a rat race. It is always me first, me, myself, and everything else can wait. तो मेरे को मतलब मैं अभी थोड़े दिन पहले I had gone to Indian Institute of Forest Management, which is in Bhopal, and I mean, like, I met a lot of young, obviously grads who are going to pass out in April. I mean, like, you feel like wow, energized seeing the youngsters, and you feel like there is सीखने के लिए इनसे कितना कुछ है, and they are super smart and super enthu. So I'm like, I think one needs to keep having a वो अपने आप कुछ आप अपनी चेकिंग करवाते there should always be the moment you feel थोड़ा सा अपने आप को लगने लगे कि तुरम खा बन गए हो, तो भैया तुरंत बाहर जाओ, see the world, get yourself कि हाँ अब ठीक है, I'm grounded kind of thing. तो मेरे को वो कभी भी रहा है कि I just believe that अगर आप ये सोच के चलोगे कि there is I always wake up कि आज मैंने I write a every day evening, if I'm I ask myself before kind of switching off कि यार आज का exciting क्या था, आज what did how did I make the day count. आज मैंने ऐसे कुछ किया कि सिर्फ did I make somebody happy, did I do something which made me happy, did I watch something which was glorious, did I read something which was fascinating. It could be any of this जो आपको रूहानी खुशी दे, जो आपको अंदर से खुश दे, मतलब यू फील कि वाओ आज तो यार तोड़ दिया, आज तो मजा आ गया, आज मैंने नया कुछ सीखा. तो यू हैव टू पुश द एनवेलप, यू हैव टू कीप ट्राइंग न्यू थिंग्स. नहीं तो फिर वही है कि यू विल बी, जब तक हम निकलते नहीं है अपने कंफर्ट जोन से, 99%, 98% of the people just don't come out of the comfort zones because they are so glued to what like the comfort they are used to कि यार तो वो जो 2% होते हैं वही दुनिया बदलते हैं. तो not that मैं कोई दुनिया बदल रहा हूँ, but I'm just happy that if you can do that for yourself, you can change the immediate family's life, your own life, your own thought process. और जो आपसे बात करेगा उसको भी लगेगा कि हाँ यार this was I brought did I give joy to anybody, did I make it count. तो वो थोड़ा रहता है. So I am always कि यार लगी रहेगी, every time there will be a fire, there will be enough crisis, there will be enough मारामारी. तो that is given, मतलब आगे क्या. So that is तो आपको that is given. तो उसमें आप अपने लिए क्या कर पा रहे हो, क्या कुछ even 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever, it's not the quantum, it's the quality. तो वो मुझे keeps me pushing every day कि यार ऐसे कैसे you cannot just let the go day go. कुछ अच्छा करते हैं कुछ. So that keeps you kind of happier and motivated, excited.
Yeah, so I'm coming to the fun part of the program. Okay, so we have some quiz for you. So it's
करिए madam.
Yeah, you enjoy being a kid, na? So let's see. So what travels the world while stuck on one spot?
Stamp.
Which room has no walls?
ये तो भैया गुगली आ गया. Which room has no walls? Pass.
Mushroom.
ओहो क्या बात.
और next है, what two words when combined hold the most letters?
Hold the most letters. Which two words? क्या बात है भैया, आप ही को बताना पड़ेगा.
ये तो है पोस्ट ऑफिस. सोचे पोस्ट ऑफिस में सबसे ज्यादा लेटर्स होते हैं.
ओहो क्या बात मैडम, दिस वाज
बच्चों से सीखा है. ओके, अगला क्वेश्चन. ओके, व्हाट वर्ड इज स्पेल्ड इनकरेक्टली इन द डिक्शनरी?
what word is spelled incorrectly in dictionary?
Incorrectly.
This was a trick one. Trick or treat. Good.
Okay, last
हाँ
one.
जी.
So can you name 3 consecutive days without using the words Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday?
3 consecutive days without
Using the
Wednesday. ये भी पास करना पड़ेगा मैडम.
today and tomorrow.
ओहो ओहो, ये बिल्कुल खतरनाक था यार, ये तो बहुत ही सही था.
So यही
बहुत
है.
सही
So
था.
when you change your circle with youngsters, I mean half your age, उससे भी छोटे, तो ये सब होता रहता है.
बिल्कुल, you nailed it, absolutely.
So recently I traveled across to Bangalore and Bombay. So बहुत टाइम के बाद मैंने travel किया. So मुझे लगा कि बहुत ज़्यादा मेरे पर focus हो रहा था. My life was all about me, my passion, my creativity and all. So I just thought कि थोड़ा बाहर निकला जाए, पता चले कि हम कितने पानी में हैं और अब बहुत ज़्यादा हो गया. So I met a lot of youngsters, a lot of people are traveling. So half my age, I mean, the circle which I was sitting around and was discussing about my book and travel, and I got to learn so much about travel. The places I've already visited, ऐसी चीजें हैं जो मुझे पता ही नहीं थी.
Oh,
So yeah. So,
I mean, like, ये तो है यार. I'm like, there is so much you learn. I mean, like, there is no end to it. And yeah, जितना आप बाहर निकलोगे, जितना आप जाओगे, जितना आप it can be just like जैसे आपने बोला कि just coming out of those 4 walls will make you realize कि यार जब आप बाहर रहते हो तो आपको दिन बड़ा लगने लगता है, जबकि आप घर में रहते हो तो पता ही नहीं चलता कि दिन कब शुरू हुआ खत्म हुआ. So that's one thing which first thing that you'll realize कि यार आज मैं travel कर रहा हूँ तो मेरा दिन कितना बड़ा है, क्योंकि मैं इतना कुछ कर पा रहा हूँ. तो वो आप क्योंकि दिन में जब आप रास्ते में हो, जा रहे हो, you're using your all the 5 senses. You're taking in, you're watching, you're listening, you're just soaking in with all the 5 elements. तो आपको दिन बड़ा लगने लगता है. And that's what one thing which I also was told कि यार that's why जब आप सफर कर रहे होते हो तो आपको लगता है कि यार कितना कुछ देखने को मिल रहा है. I mean, like, I used to remember my train travels as a kid from Delhi. जब झांसी से हम लोग बैंगलोर आते थे कर्नाटका एक्सप्रेस से या कन्याकुमारी एक्सप्रेस से या whatever मंगला एक्सप्रेस से. So it was like so much, every train stop was like, okay, now next station is going to be Bhopal, next station is going to be Itarasi, next station is going to be this. So we used to love those dhai din ka, journey, because as a kid that was the biggest learning that we, we were getting, prepared for life, that those are the stations, or they were just not stations, because each railway station used to bring नई आवाजें, नई खाना, नया टेस्ट, नया रंग, नए पोशाक. एग्जैक्टली, बहुत मजा आता है. आई थिंक
कप में चाय मिलेगी तो कहीं पे कॉफी मिलेगा.
एग्जैक्टली
those moments basically. And I think probably when you travel क्या होता है ना कि आप अपना सोशल मीडिया से तो दूर रहते हो basically.
बिल्कुल
Distractions कम रहती हैं, so then you enjoy a lot, and company also matters. So people say कि solo travel करना मतलब boring होता है, but when I tell them that कि आप निकलते अकेले हो लेकिन साथ में आपका पूरा कारवां.
बिल्कुल that is given. मतलब वो दोस्त मिलते गए, कारवां बन गया, that is given. So you'll find those guys, you'll find those people, because as humans, we have that way to get pulled to people who you realize कि यार इस बंदे के साथ बैठना पड़ेगा, इस बंदे से सीखना चाहिए, इस बंदे से सुनना चाहिए, इस बंदे को देखना चाहिए. You are imbibing those things, you're bringing all your senses, you're just watching the way, I mean, like, if you're a cricketer, they say, you just watch Rahul Dravid for, how he prepares himself. That itself is like a, Bible for any young guy to start his career. So, yeah, I mean, like, जब आप travel कर रहे हो तो you'll find so many experiences.
Or you become a storyteller actually, है ना? कहानियाँ, मतलब I find people who travel, they can't finish something in one line. मतलब उनको कहानी होती है उनके पास.
Yeah, बिल्कुल.
वो एक लाइन बोल भी रहे ना, उसके पीछे बहुत बड़ी कहानी होगी.
Absolutely. But so, yeah, वही है कि if you are humble and you're, I mean, like, अगर आप जिंदगी को, सही मायने में आप enjoy करना चाहते हो तो just keep your mind open and let your senses, all your senses get.
So I'm glad that you came on the show, and I know that you are also poha lover like me. So yeah, आज के पोहा बन रहा है घर पे, because most of the time हम आप चाय या फूलों की बात कर रहे होते हैं आपस
Bilkul, absolutely. That's my favorite dish. So for me, that is a soul food kind of thing. So मेरे लिए तो it's like poha chai, and I'm like, as recently in Bhopal, I was telling you, then Indore happened, and then poha jalebi is like it's like iconic there, and so I the day starts there with poha jalebi, and that's the national dish kind of thing. So
Hmm.
yeah, I mean, like for me, poha is brings me back to so many wonderful times that I had in Jabalpur or MP, or traveling
Hmm.
around the yeah.
So yeah, I'm also foodie. So मेरे लिए भी I think Kapi Poha. I mean, filter coffee is I normally it represents Bangalore for me, one of my dream city, and the other is the
Yes,
Soul Connection, which is a Mumbai. So stay poha because I mean there are two friends of mine who जो इतना अच्छा पोहा बनाते हैं मैं उसी के लिए जाती हूँ. So I used to travel
क्या बात
weekends.
है.
We used to spend time only at home. बस पोहा खाते थे बैठ के पराठे खाते थे. So मेरे लिए
Absolutely,
मुंबई means पोहा. मुंबई means a feeling. So that's why show का नाम
absolutely,
पोहा ही रखा
absolutely
है. Because मेरे लिए food and people and travel are all connected basically. Books as
true,
well. So
true.
these are
It is,
all.
it is.
So yeah,
In
this
fact,
gives
I
me
mean, like,
a.
I would just want to show you if the people, the young guys, these are some of the books that, you need to, I keep going through these books. These are biology and McDonald's and Starbucks and, Paco Underhill, who is one of the best retail writers. If you are, anybody wants to get into retail, and I mean, like, there is so much which is happening, in all
Yeah.
these, yeah. So those are the stuff which you learn something, you read something, so you get to know so much.
Hmm.
And today's, I mean, like, you can Google everything anyway. But
Hmm.
yeah, for me, I'm old school, and that works for me. One coffee, one chai, and one poha, and a good book to read.
या मुझे हार्ड
Is
कॉपी
it?
चाहिए होती है आई कांट मैनेज विद किंडल
बिल्कुल,
अभी थोड़ा आगे
बिल्कुल,
होता है
absolutely, absolutely.
हम्म
मैडम, आपका भी रखा हुआ है. Achan's Flamingo is very much in, next to the Himalayas.
read and give me a feedback put it on put a review on
Ma'am,
Amazon
I'm again, I'm telling everyone कि यार, these are the things, it's such a beautiful piece of stuff, book, that if people just would love, would just read, and follow it and follow their heart. It's basically, that's what you're telling all of us, that listen to your heart, follow your passion, do your thing, don't let the world tell you what you have to do. Just you have to take that step, and the universe is there conspiring to open the way for you.
Hmm. So let me check for any comments or questions for you if there are any questions देखते हैं I think कोई question है काफी लोग I think काफी people who know you have joined so hope people have enjoyed the show being the last
Yes,
episode
yes.
I wanted to keep it on 30th of December because it is my father's birthday as well so
Many,
thought
many
कि
happy returns to Achan. Many, I mean, like, he would be so happy to see you doing this. I mean, like, more power to you, Smita. Hats off to
hope
you. You're, I'm like,
take it to more people. I mean, do workshop for people, youngsters, basically. I mean, make a change for. I mean, I want to do my bit. I mean, give away my bit to the social cause. So let's see how it goes. And I'm glad that people like you
absolutely.
are happy to be part of it. So that whenever I need your support, you're there. You guys are always there. And
I'm like,
thanks.
it's a privilege and it's an honor. I mean, like, Smita, I mean, like, it's the least we can do. I mean, like, मेरे लिए तो बहुत ही खुशी की बात है. I mean, like, for me, it's an honor to be just, be part of, if somebody is listening to this conversation and the many conversation that you have, put up in NiMiTHAM, it's extraordinary. It's really something which I would want more and more people to see, learn, observe, and take away from there, and probably that could be a starting point.
So last question to you: any message for our youngsters? I mean, probably people want to call them as young adults now. They are not no more. But, so any messages for them?
मतलब I'm nobody. I'm like, for me, I have lived with a simple thing that make your day count. Make your day beautiful. Make it happier. And जिंदगी जिंदा दिली का नाम है. I mean, like, you have to, you have to open the window if the door is closed. You have to push. You have to learn. You have to discover. Never stop yourself from just वो क्या कहेगा, ये क्या कहेगा. I mean, like, that's not going to help, so do what your heart says, and that big decision has to come from the heart. उसके बाद के जो स्टेप्स हैं, जो रिपरकशंस होंगे, जो बड़े आपने दिल के जो डिसीजन लिए हैं, वो वाले डिसीजन जो स्टेप्स होंगे वो आप माइंड से लीजिए, बट बिग डिसीजंस यू टेक फ्रॉम हार्ट। कि कोई भी जिंदगी का बड़ा फैसला लेना है वो दिल की सुनो, और उसके बाद के जो आंसर्स चाहिए होंगे या जो सवाल आएंगे, लेट योर ब्रेन हैंडल दैट, बिकॉज दोज आर ओनली द इंट्यूटिव थिंग्स। कि हाँ ठीक है, आपने बड़ा डिसीजन ले लिया कि ये मैं करना चाहता हूँ, दिस इज व्हाट इज गोइंग टू ब्रिंग मी हैप्पीनेस। उसके बाद वाले जो स्टेप्स होंगे कि ऐसे करूं, कैसे करूं, क्या करूं, दोज आर द स्टेप्स विच यू लेट योर माइंड वर्क ऑन इट, because then you will get your best of heart and mind. So that's what worked for me. So I mean, like, I personally keep telling ki dil ki suno, and let your the smaller day to day, the why, how, what of it, let the brain take cognizance of that. So yeah, I mean, like, baki to everybody is I mean, like, सबके लिए अलग अलग चीज काम करता है, each to his own. But मेरा तो यही है मंत्रा kind of thing कि just दिल के सुनो types.
Okay, follow your heart. So any questions for me before we end the show, because ये last episode है, कुछ है तो पूछ लीजिए, अगर नहीं है तो we'll end the show anyways.
I think you should continue adding new things, and I mean, like, you're doing an amazing thing. For me, I know, knowing you for this many period, I'm like, you have been I have been watching all the episodes. I have been giving you feedback wherever I have. Ki, wow, man, you brought in the that person. That is such exciting thing. You brought in the different facets of people. For me, each of these people represent a diverse set of ki, for me, I could learn so much. And if the young guys are listening, the people who you are making this for, I mean, like, they are really going to learn. They can get started from here. Whoever they are listening.
So I'm blessed that I have a good circle of people. I have a good network of people.
Absolutely,
So
absolutely,
I'm blessed to have, I mean, my family, my friends, my cousins. I mean, all over, wherever I go, I think probably I enjoy. I mean, that people's company. So people bring me joy. So that's what I look forward for my travel or any interaction for. So basically, मैं वही ढूंढती हूँ क्या अलग कर रहे हैं, and if I can contribute to their life and I can help them, or can I learn from them? Basically, that is what is inspirational in them basically. So मुझे लगता है हर बंदा इंस्पायर करता है. So that is why जो लोग मेरी लाइफ में आए हैं उन्हीं को ही मैं लेकर आई थी चैट शो में. There are a lot of people whom I wanted them to come on the show as speakers, guest speakers, but वो ये time limit, वो चीजें match नहीं होती, और a number of reasons. So anyways, I will ensure that they are part of some of the initiative of NiMiTHAM itself. Yeah.
Absolutely, it's a pure joy, for me to be here, and just so being there itself, it's wonderful.
नहीं तो मैं बैकअप आ सकता हूँ कभी भी, तो मैंने बोला था कि because there's so many people, I never thought I would ask you to come, but then I was looking for somebody from retail, because there are people who were asking me, यार तुम्हारे retail का तो कोई नहीं आता, retail कितना बड़ा नया चल रहा है, मैंने कहा देखते कोई retail का मिलेगा. I just struck my mind that yeah, you're there, so let me ask you to come on the show. Why you have to be backup? Why can't you be the main one? So yeah, that's the reason I thought yeah, इसको आने दो, उसको बोलने दो, उसको जो
true joy.
Yeah. So thanks for your time. Thanks viewers for watching all the 25 episodes of season 2 as well as 25 episodes of season 1 as well, and thanks for all the feedback. So we'll come up with new stuff for next year. We'll keep you posted, and I think Poha sessions, I mean, these chat shows have come to an end, so there was something new, not the regular chat shows anymore. Okay, then take care. Wishing all of you a great new year.
Thanks so much, and happy new year to everybody.
Yeah,
and more power to you, Smita. Do the good. Thanks so much.
Enjoy your weekend as well. Long New Year weekend आ गया है. Okay,
yes.
Bye.
Bye.